According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Pittsburgh Steelers are expected to place an original round / right of first refusal tender on quarterback Dwayne Haskins this offseason. Fowler tweeted the news earlier on Sunday morning. So, from what I know, this original round tender cost the Steelers $2.5 million, whereas a first round tender would cost the Steelers around $5.5 million for this year. But what's great about this, and this is why the Steelers front office was really smart in signing Haskins, is that original round tender is also a first round tender. Yep. So if another team was trying to sign him and we didn't match the deal, that team would have to give us a first round pick.
Yes, they would.
Which is why I assume Haskins is going to be on the roster. No one's going to be giving up a first round pick for Haskins.
Absolutely, because not just give a first round pick, but they also would have to sign him to a contract as well. So you not only lose the pick, but you also lose money also. So yeah, I mean, I think that this was a really good idea by the Steelers, low risk, high reward, because best case scenario, he comes out here and he is the person that we think he can be. He lives up to the potential and the pedigree of him being a top 15 pick. Some even thought a top 5 pick based on his talent. And you get a guy like that at least on 1 year for 2.5 or we say 2.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get him on an extremely team friendly situation. And obviously we know if he were to live up to it and you would have to sign him to a longer term deal after that, I do think that you would have a lot more leverage in that sense because you were with him during this time right here where nobody was there with him. And I think that could benefit you. Now, that's only if he lives up to that, but that was the best case, right? Worst case scenario is what? You're down $2.5 million. It doesn't kill you, you know? And that's the other thing. And it's like, he has talent. You know he has talent. You know you're just trying to see if you can tap into it to have it be more consistent. But for the flyer of that, and you're protected by a team having to give up a first round draft pick if they really want him that bad, for the Steelers, it was a win all around, man. So yeah, for me, I like it a lot. Yeah, I definitely like that a lot, man.
I think this was gonna happen no matter what. I just didn't know the logistics of how he was gonna come back this year. But since we already have his rights being a restricted free agent, now finding out that this original round tender thing is in existence as opposed to just doing the first round tender. I mean, this is great because it's cheaper. 2.5 versus 5.5 is the first round tender. And it seems like, and we were talking about this before, the only reason we were able to do this is because Washington cut him. Because if he was drafted there and stayed there the whole time, he'd be under the original contract.
Correct. And he would have an opportunity.
Like, this is a really uncommon thing.
Yes. And so to give you a little bit more context with it, if he would have never been released from Washington and he stays there, he's never allowed to be tendered as a restricted free agent. He would be unrestricted when he was done. But because he was a first round pick, and with that being a first round pick, he has the 5th year option element. He would go 4 years and then the team would decide, kind of like we talk about with Devin Bush,
option stuff,
Terrell Edmonds and things like that, where the team gets to decide on that 5th year. But since he was released, you tear up that contract. And now with the new contract, it's for anybody that, especially with his age, this is also why it plays like this for him being restricted, because he hasn't been in the league for more than 4 years. He's not a vested veteran. That's why he's able to also be a restricted free agent. Whereas most of the time, if a veteran is released, they could sign a 1 year deal and still leave that following year and the team doesn't have their rights. But because he's not a vested veteran, meaning that he has 4 credited seasons, that's why the team can still have him as a restricted free agent and ultimately tender him, and this loophole works for that. It's rare that this happens with first round guys because most time first round draft picks aren't released within the first 4 years. Most teams, they hold on to those guys for at least 4 and then they make a decision with the 5th year option. But with this situation with Haskins, it just worked out like that, where we got an opportunity to get him. And for the cost element of it, risk reward measuring and stuff like that, I like it a lot, man.
Yeah, we both said that at the time of the signing, but now it looks even better because we're getting value out of it.
Yeah.
And he's not even doing anything.
Yep.
Like, if someone tried to sign him, we got a free first round pick.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You're not losing that.
You didn't even do anything. But assuming he's going to be on the roster, that's why, like we said, at $2.5 million, such a low risk.
Can't go wrong with that.
Dude,
man.
He's got bank though. First 2 years with Washington. About $14 million total.
Yeah. He got some nice checks over there, man.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you saw when we ran into him. He was Dior and Louis and all that other designer.
It's just weird. I didn't know how much he was getting at that 15th pick, but I guess that's still some bank.
No. It's good money. I always joke with Bud before he got the mega deal. He was like, yo, Bud, you ain't broke no more, bro. Like, I know what your checks look like. The show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. You know, America's top-rated sports booking app. Deke, not only is it safe, but it is secure, and you better believe it is reliable. And for all the first-time users out there, because everybody was a first at one point in their life, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. It's an awesome concept. You definitely want to check that out, but more importantly, make sure you use that promo code. And Deke, you know, every once in a while,
people go overboard, huh?
They don't have self-control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Deke, when people start to lose that self-control, man, something happens.
What's that?
You got to talk to them a little bit. You got to tell them, if you know somebody who has a gambling problem, you better call 1-800-GAMBLER. I say, if you know somebody that has a gambling problem, or they need crisis counseling, you better tell them to call 1-800-GAMBLER.